Well, this regime is a shit show. Keone, what were they thinking?
Thinking? You got to stop accusing this administration about thinking.
The amount of energy that it takes to be a racist is insane.
It's too easy, Stacey. The only thing the internet asks you to be most times is don't be homophobic, don't be sexist, don't be racist. How hard is that?
Apparently, they can't handle it.
Stacey, you got to pull, because I don't know what the hell Trump is doing. Pull a card, because we haven't done that yet. And it's got to be the Fool. It's going to be the Fool. It has to be the Fool.
Oh my God! Who's the psychic now? Cello all, Stacey the Black Feather Intuitive, and I'm with my trusty cohort Keone, and welcome to Dear Democracy. We have started this show just a little while back, and we decided we were going to do it twice a month, and so much happens in a day. How can we possibly get through 2 weeks without the whole world, being blown up? And this week,
not the whole world.
That's what we're talking about. So, Keone, what's going on? What's up?
Well, I don't like the ending of that intro because, I've been eating a little Uber Eats lately, and I look like a giant side of beef just rolled over on camera. Not liking that. So, yeah, going to the gym in the morning.
Well, I'm the polar opposite. At this point, I have had like a stomach flu all freaking day, and I can't keep food down. So there you go. I figure it's a reaction to all of the energies of all of the things that I'm getting to a point where I just can't digest anymore. I can't digest it.
Well, I wake up.
So in my food.
All right, you woke up. You wake up, and you see the news. We have bombed Iran.
Yeah.
Your immediate thoughts.
What in the actual fuck? I knew it was going to happen, but now that it's here, what in the actual fuck?
You said it was going to happen.
Those were the thoughts in my head.
You said it was going to happen. You said that, I don't know, like 5 months ago. I wish I could find the video, but you said that was going to happen. And it's just a couple things. Number one, we do this thing where, he's talking about cutting the head off a snake. Well, that doesn't matter if you're not eliminating everybody associated in that lineage. So, for instance, we went in Venezuela. He took the president, but he didn't take all the people that were loyal to the president or even the people in parliament that were loyal to the president.
Yeah.
When we went in Iraq and we ousted Saddam, one of the things we did was track down every Ba'ath member. Or if you were even associated as a Ba'ath member, you were arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do that there. That's number one. Troops on the ground, I put that on my Facebook, in Iran is insane. There's a reason why Iran and Afghanistan and some of these places have never been conquered. Terrain is ridiculous, extremely ridiculous terrain. And that's a nightmare. And the fact that, paraphrasing in one of the, not meetings, but one of the times he was at the podium, and they asked him, well, who will be in charge? Not understanding that Iran has a whole constitution construction for this. They have a system for this. They have a system of people that are governed. There's 3 of them, and they run the country until someone is picked to take that place. So they have a whole system in place for that. That's number one. And number 2, he says, well, we had some people that would have been great, but our strike was so good, they're dead too. That's something to joke about? That's funny to you?
Yeah.
That's funny to you that you think the people that were good, that were elected to replace somebody you thought was bad, died in your bombing, and you find that funny.
Well, he finds it funny and he tells on himself all the time. So this is just, revealing the level of incompetence that they can't even fuck up the world without fucking up. Like there's always an extra degree of fuckery that has to and they're all jumping all over each other to try nobody knows what the whole purpose of it was. Nobody has any idea. I mean, I can tell you the purpose is avoiding the Epstein files and trying desperately to stop the elections from happening by being able to say we're in a war now, so no elections. I mean, he's so obvious. They're so obvious. The disturbing thing to me is where are the people that are like stopping this? I mean, I still we're a year into this. We're over a year into this and my brain still can't wrap itself around the fact that we're living this alternate reality because nobody's got the balls to step up and say what's right and do what's right. I don't get it.
Oh, the people who have the balls are ignored. Also, there are people who aren't stepping up because it hasn't affected them yet. Nothing affects you until you get things like, "Hey, we're gonna roll out the red carpet for you," and then you end up eating McDonald's.
Oh my god.
And you end up eating McDonald's because that's what happens when the red carpet is rolled out for you by, the president. But this guy's doing just this disgusting things. For instance, you talked about it earlier, the executive order that was given, so transgender soldiers are being voluntary or involuntary, um,
Discharged.
discharged. You have to voluntary or they will involuntary discharge you. And here's the thing. People go, well, stand your ground. You can't stand your ground because when you voluntarily under their plan do it, you get your benefits. If you don't, you don't get your benefits. So you're
It's
stuck
the
in that
same it's the
place.
same bullshit that they're trying to pull with people getting people to self-deport. We're going to put you in these concentration camps and make it so horrible that you're going to want to leave. You're going to want to go
Right.
back to a war-torn
It,
country where you're going
right.
to be killed the second. Like it's so
And
backwards.
even the ones without the war torn country that's just trying to seek a better existence. And as a person who spent 20 years in the army, the one thing that you're not trying to do in a service where recruitment numbers are needed, you start kicking people out, especially if they're good soldiers. I don't give a damn if it's a pig, half human. Is this person a
Yeah.
good soldier?
Yeah.
Can I count on them? Your
Yeah.
gender has nothing to do with your accountability. Your
Agreed.
gender has nothing to do with your responsibility. How many times in history was we understand about soldiers that if you're trained well and you have good leadership, you'll be a good soldier? Because remember, at one time, people who look like me were not supposed to make good soldiers. And even though we performed well in the Revolutionary War, even though we performed well in the Civil War, even though we performed well in World War I and World War II, it still took all that time to go, oh my God, they can be excellent soldiers. Well, no shit.
Yeah, it's the hypocrisy of it all. Like we need boots on the ground, we need food for the fodder. So you're good enough for that, but you're not good enough to be labeled a human being and to be given the same rights and privileges as any other fucking human being on the planet. Yeah.
Maybe we
Yeah,
should all
I
get
know.
spurs so we don't have to go like, the
I
president.
know,
Spurs,
like
whatever.
him. I know. I actually saw a little clip. It was Aaron Parnas. I was trying to talk about him last time, and I screwed up his name, but that's who he is, Aaron Parnas. And watched one of his little clips, and apparently there's a huge draft baron protest out there, or what's a petition. There's a petition that people are signing, draft Barron, as in Barron Trump, so Trump's son, draft him. And I mean, I have to laugh because I mean the hypocrisy of it all is insane. Like they're getting rid of immigrants, but he's married to an immigrant who whose language is, I mean, she speaks English, but it's not her first language, and you can tell when
Well,
she speaks to
speaking
people.
of that, that reminds us of Amazon forking over $70 million to make that Melania documentary.
Yeah.
Whether I'm gonna get this mixed up or not, whether it was $40 for the movie, 35 for advertisement, she got 28 million of it. and nobody the movie made $7 million in, like, the first week, and I said, "You thought a MAGA base who's largely not fond of immigrants are going to go watch a movie about an immigrant because she's married to Donald Trump? How'd that work out for you?"
That
Then, of
was
course,
just
a week later,
Jeff
Amazon's
Bezos
laying off
sticking his
people.
head so far up Trump's ass. I mean, that's what that was. It had nothing to do with her. It had nothing to do with any of that. She's just, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, this woman has wanted to leave his ass for so many
No.
years and has decided and has tried to get out of it so many freaking times and has decided, you know what? If I'm going to be in, I'm going to be all in. I'm going to take as much money as I possibly can and set myself up for success so that when this turkey dies, I never have to look back. I
That
can
has
live
been
my life and not have to be a part of the world.
She has not wanted to leave 1 second after marriage. She may have
Really?
wanted to leave for physical reasons. She may have wanted to leave because she's not in love, but trust me, she enjoys the life that she's had over all of these decades, and that's one reason why she wasn't leaving. Because as dumb as he is, I bet you he has a prenuptial.
Oh, of
I
course.
bet you because if she could've
Oh, of
she
course.
yeah, so, you know, she does her thing.
Which is
I
why I feel that it's
yeah,
I mean, it's been an arrangement for a long fricking time, but I
mhm.
I'm telling you, I feel like and maybe it's just me being a woman, maybe it's something else, I don't know, but she has wanted to leave his ass
I
a
think
number of
it's
times.
more of you and sometimes we do this, you putting yourself in her shoes instead
Well,
of you
it's
being her.
also like I mean, I get the prenuptial part of it, but she has been around the block long enough that she's created her own money. So the prenup stuff
Yeah, but
doesn't affect her
no,
own
that's
money and
perfect.
her own earnings.
That's perfect. People with money, do you think they wanna spend their money or your money? That's how they keep being rich.
That's true.
You know, if you and I were married and, I've built up a little $20 million nest egg, but staying with you is another 30 million because you're just so much hey, because when you get to that point where they are, it ain't never about love. It ain't
No, of course not.
never about love
Yeah,
at
people stay
all.
together for all types of reasons, and this one I think it's
Mhm.
pretty obvious because
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I mean, I'm not a judger of, people's physicality.
Mhm.
I don't care who you are, what you have, what size, shape, if you're sky blue, pink with orange polka dots. Are you a good human being? Do you have a good soul? Do you have a good heart? That's what I'm interested in. So it doesn't matter what he looks like, but when I know what he's like as a human being and I see him in that way, the judgy Judgerson comes out in me. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to vomit. I want to vomit at the idea of even being in any kind of physical
Well,
proximity
I don't
to
wanna
that
gross you out,
individual.
but you remember his most famous of wives before Melania, Ivanka Trump,
Ivana.
and Ivana Tr
Ivanka's his
I
daughter.
said Ivanka. Well, he also said if Ivanka wasn't my daughter, that's probably where I got messed up,
Yeah, because
but
he's sick. Well, it was
disgusting.
Marla Maples was
Mm,
after Marla Maples was wife 2, so Ivana is wife 1.
yeah, Ivana. In Ivana's book, she literally said, "Having intercourse with him was like grape."
Yeah. Ugh.
So, that's from you can take it as you want and say, "Well, it's an ex-wife, it's going," but, that's something you don't have to bring up in next let's actually, there were plenty of stuff she could have brought up in the book, that there was a point to, um, bringing that up. But, hey, here's another thing that distracts us from the files, so that's good, and most Americans are still looking at it, even the ones that support him are like, "Okay, it's great. You went over there, you bombed, you killed an 84-year-old one-armed man who didn't have much longer life left anyway. You could have just waited, but, in patience, you gotta get it done. I guess you gotta do it before you die."
Yeah.
Um, So you
Well,
can
that's
put
what this
that.
is all about, that it's that hubris, right? It's my time the clock is ticking on my life, so I need to go out and take out as many people as I possibly can. And
I talked about it
in his addled brain, he wants to take out the entire world.
I talked about it, and I'm gonna say this just in case, because people pop in and they pop out. If you're popping in and you're hearing this part because you're on the delay, this is the Dear Democracy episode where we talk about things that have to do with political. So if you're hopping on and you think we're just doing like these standard tarot reading or oracle readings that we do, that's not this episode. So, but you feel free to stick around. We love everybody who comes in and joins us. So, one of the things that we talked about last week, we talked about the hockey team, how they were treated, um, the women's hockey team, and all of that. We talked about the women's medaling every year since their existence, which is kind of an insane thing. They've been the most dominant team in hockey, but they didn't get fed McDonald's, and that's always gonna make me happy to
But you
see
know
those men
what?
saying,
They got to have dinner with Stanley Tucci in Milan. And Stanley Tucci is such a foodie. And to have food, like have Italian, like a true Italian meal, oh my God. Like that's
"What, is
talk
that better than
about, I'm so
McDonald's?
glad. It's perfect revenge.
Is that
Perfect
better than Mc
fucking
is
revenge.
that better than McDonald's, though?"
Um, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I can't tell
Oh,
you the last time I had fast food. Probably 25 years ago.
oh, mine was this morning.
Yeah, I just I can't. My body is like, ooh, can't do it. But VIP life, right? Black Feather Couture.
Well, at least you don't have what a lot of medical people are saying, watching, solid white objects come out of his mouth during the State of the Union was tonsil stones, which is something I had never heard of.
I never heard of
Um,
that until you mentioned it. I
they
was like, I
believe
didn't know that's what they were calling it. I just was seeing like spittle and I was like, oh, you are just so repulsive. Like I can't. I just can't. I haven't seen it. I've seen little snippets and clips. I just couldn't bring myself to do any of that. Ugh. And then when
I'll
he's
tell you what,
spitting, I already have a thing about that. So, like, don't trigger my OCD. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna tell you, tonsil stones are small, hardened, white or yellow deposits of trapped food, bacteria, or dead cells that calcify in the crevices of the tonsil. That's
I'm
what
inside
those
doing la la
are.
la. I'm not listening. La 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 la. I'm not listening because I just told you don't trigger my damn OCD.
Why? Does that mean you're gonna look it up or something?
No, what it means is now I'm going to ruminate and obsess because that's the vision I have in my head and it grosses me out so much that it makes me physically sick. So, thank you.
Oh, you're like one of those people that picture stuff. Okay, I got you. I got you. I
Yes.
could do that. I do that with some things too. That's why sometimes I don't like when certain things get described to
Yes.
me. I'm like, oh, you don't have to describe it to me. Like when somebody has an injury and they want to tell you about it. I don't know.
Oh,
No, no,
yeah. Oof, no.
yeah, I don't want to
Yeah.
hear about it.
No,
I
thank
don't I
you.
don't want to hear about it at all. Well, let's go and see. Let's pull a card on. I had it up here. This is one of the things about doing live when your stuff shuts down.
It disappears on you while you're in the middle of your show. Yeah. Well, I've got cards ready. We're going to pull cards from the Wheel of Fortune Tarot. So, what's the question? Qu'est-ce que c'est la question?
No, I was reading. Okay, the first general question, it just says the bombing of Iran. What do the cards say? That's the opener. That's the opener question. So that's the most basic general one.
Queen of Swords. So, Queen of Swords, there's sovereignty involved in here. She's very thoughtful and kind of pragmatic about things. She gets a bad rap when this kind of comes in. In reverse, the Queen of Swords is cold and calculating, heartless, often seen as heartless, thoughtless. very narcissistic, very focused on her own needs. So when you ask the, the bombing in Iran, I feel like it's a not a one-sided event, but it is a what's the phrase I'm looking for? It's like Trump and Netanyahu coming together in their little collab for whatever their reasons are, and they don't give a flying fuck about anyone or anything else around them. It is about their catering to their own needs, serving their own needs. And I feel that there are, I did a video on this. I feel that there are multiple layers to this, and we aren't going to see all of the layers until well after the fact, what all of the angles were. But in essence, that's why. I feel like we are dealing with individuals who are so emotionally void of life, heart, feeling. There's no empathy, there's no compassion. To them, the whole world is literally a game. It's like they're detached or dissociated from the rest of the world, that this is just a game, playing this game. And, they take pleasure in other people's pain, but I don't know that that's what this is actually about. I don't feel that this is taking pleasure as much as this is trying to save their own asses. So it's a diversionary tactic. I want to say it feels so the bare bones of it have been planned for a long time in the event that this came up. But once it happened, it was done very impulsively. Like, I don't feel like they were talking to each other 4 weeks ago and said, hey, we're going to put this on this date. It's kind of like, okay, we've got a list of, what did I say in the video? In case of emergency, break glass. Like they have a
That's
list of that.
close. That's actually close to what happened. Back in February, him and Netanyahu had a meeting, and that's where some experts are believing that he coerced Trump into saying, Dave thinks this, that says, the nuclear talks with Iran will fall apart. What do we do? And that was kind of the plan. Israel was going to do what they were going to do, and they talked him into doing it with them.
Mm.
Um, because this was not a Congress approved venture.
No, they didn't even bother going to Congress, but they haven't bothered to go to Congress on anything. So why would this be any different?
Because the president, and don't quote me wrong, I got to look it up. I believe the president can order military action, but it's only for a certain amount of days, and it has to be approved by Congress to stay.
And it has to do with like an imminent threat or something because Congress takes too long to get together. But there was no imminent threat.
Of course not. Of course, there was no imminent threat.
Trump is just using this as, I guarantee you, as an excuse to, he wants to stay in some kind of war for long enough to be able to say we can't have an election.
The president can initiate military action without congressional approval for a limited time. The War Powers Resolution of 1973 requires the president to notify Congress within 48 hours of military action. Military action can last up to 60 days without congressional authorization. After 60 days, the president must seek congressional approval to continue military operations. Congress can also pass a resolution to limit or end military action at any time. Ongoing military actions may also be subject to international law and treaties, which he doesn't care about. But yeah, so the president can initiate military operations. He's got to notify Congress within 48 hours, which I think he did. So one thing I think he did right. And then Congress decides after those 60 days if they need to stay longer than 60 days. So it's a person who knows the time limit on things that he can do. He knows the wiggle room in which he can wiggle. But like you said before, it doesn't matter because sometimes he knows the wiggle room or he knows what's legally he's allowed to do and not allowed to do, and he does it anyway. And the way our system works is people in power get to do things illegally, and it takes all this time to stop them. But, you and I, you know, forget we have court and don't go to parking ticket, and there's a bench warrant for our arrest, and we've
In
got a
30
record already.
seconds.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
So different
I
strokes for
wonder,
different
like,
folks.
where did we miss the boat on having checks and balances on the big cheeses, right? Like,
Well, that's the
how
thing.
come we can't pull them into jail? How come we can't arrest them right now to stop this craziness? How come, all the things that they do to the regular people, why can't we do the same things here?
Number
Like,
one, they have checks and balances, but the checker needs to make sure that the balances are being done. That's number one. Number two, the government has immunity with a lot of things, right? Who's prosecuting the government officials? What's happened? What are the legal ramifications? What are the policies in place? You know, what's the burden of proof that you need? What's the statute of limitation? There's so many things that happen. I mean, look at how you know what, Stacy, you could be in jail for murder right now and guilty of that murder. And I could be president and be like, I'm pardoning my friend Stacy.
well, he's done it. He's done it. I mean, his entire presidency has been based on these ridiculous pardons.
Pardoning people that are clearly guilty that can aid him. He pardoned a crypto guy, and Trump has made over 2.8
$1 billion or whatever the hell.
in crypto.
Mhm.
Like, but his giant fan base keeps getting poorer while he's getting richer, and he's doing all the
Yeah.
things that hurt them. It's that
I've
age-old
I've
thing
seen
of
that. I've
yeah,
seen that where they're the ones who are gonna eat. What does the say, the leopard that eats at your face, or the leopard
yeah,
won't eat my face, or
yeah.
whatever. I
I
I
never
feel that
thought the
any
leopard would eat my
punishment that
face.
is gonna um, be taken out is gonna be on their own base, the
It
MAGAs.
it's always been that way, though. The majority of red states are the poorer states, and it's like and they've never drawn. I
The MAGA cult seems to always vote against their own best interests. They're the ones that do all of the, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the word,
they'll vote against
ASSISSINATIONS's, the attempts. They're the ones that do it. And I just think to myself, okay, so you voted him in.
spell.
You're unhappy with the fact that he's not doing things that you want him to do. So then you're the first one to pull up a weapon of something and try to take him out. So I don't know. Like, I'm torn between knowing that we need to fight for, democracy and all those things. And also there's a part of me that's like, maybe we all just need to sit back and let the leopard eat their faces. You know what I mean? Because I feel like the leopards are, they're getting mad, they're getting angry when they start to clue into the fact that they've been bamboozled. I don't know. Does that make sense the way I'm saying that?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I got an update on the remaining 2 American troops killed in Kuwait were, identified
Mm.
because, of course, Iran is retaliating.
What did they
Sergeant
expect?
Sergeant D. Clan Cody, Sergeant First Class Noah Tegens, Sergeant First Class Nicole Armour, and Captain Cody Cork.
Mm.
And they're in the Army Reserves unit out of Des Moines, Iowa. All 6 died in the same attack at Shubia Port in Kuwait, a commercial harbor that doubles as a logistics hub through which the U.S. military ships tactical vehicles and supplies into the region. An additional 18 service members were wounded in the strike. And
Mm.
I'm gonna put this up here so people can see. Yeah, these things have real consequences.
Yep.
Real consequences. You know?
Yeah, this is no joke. This is no
Well, it's
joke.
never a joke. There has been times, Americans have mostly been against war unless something directly happens to us. Americans were for World War because what happened? Pearl Harbor bombing. Whether you think that was set up and all of that, they got it.
Right,
Americans were at first pro go to Iraq, 9/11. Not all Americans, but a lot of them were pro let's do it when something happens to us.
right.
They were against Vietnam because that had nothing directly to do with us. Same thing with Korea. But here's the thing that a lot of those Americans will get after it happens until the next batch of pro let's go patriots happen. They're all let's do it. And then when the caskets start coming back, it's like, whoa, whoa. Well, it's not Call of Duty, people. We don't get to respawn.
Yeah,
I've been in Iraq twice. I knew I was one moment away from, hey, might be it. I may
yeah.
not come back.
This
And
might
it's
be
a
my last
reality
moment.
that people don't understand to deal with. Thank you guys for watching another episode of Dear Democracy. When we're wrapping up, YouTube thinks you might like this video. You go ahead and make sure you watch it. But also, while you're thinking about that, let's make sure that you look at our memberships as we're going to have new things for members on Keone Productions and also members that join the Black Feather Intuitive on YouTube. Thank you, Stacy, so much for putting up with me for another night.
My pleasure. You guys have a great week. We'll see you soon.
Feel better.
Thanks.